working on a project that's very exciting, has to do with art, has to do with collaboration, has to do with community service, and we are making art, collaborative art, for an assisted living facility in Hilliard. And how this project kind of started was, I just, this past year, moved my parents up to a nursing home. My mom has Lewy body dementia, and so she has to be on a memory care floor, and there's a beautiful facility called Harmony Trace. It's part of National Church Residence, and I cannot say enough good things about them. So I've gotten to know the staff there this year, and they recently had some decorations redone, some new paint, some new chairs, and a nice color palette. But the art that the decorator ordered is also being affected by the pandemic, like so many other things, and it's on back order for at least 6 months. The director approached me and asked if I could maybe create some temporary art to display while they're waiting for this other art to come. So that's how it got started. And my daughter was extremely excited about this project. Her grandparents are there, and she started talking to Mrs. England. And Mrs. England right away said, you know what? My students need to help on this project. They need to learn about community service and serving others and the joy that comes from helping other people. So I came up with an idea and came to class. And so for a week now, we've been doing a lot of work on these canvases that we're going to hang. This is an example. It's a really small example. We're going to do some very large ones, and we're going to also do some with a lot of color. There's been also some studies on dementia patients and what colors to use. Contrasting colors are really great to hang on walls for dementia or memory loss patients. And I think it's fun. We kind of naturally were just drawn to some flowers that had contrasting colors. So it's almost like you innately know what's pleasing and what kind of art is therapeutic. So Leon, I want to ask you, during the project, what have you learned, or is there something that surprised you about it?
It pushed me to move out a bit of my comfort zone. I don't really work too much with crafts and cutting paper out, and it was a fun experience getting to work with I'm in advanced drawing right now, and we got a couple students in there, not too big, so it's more homey. It's fun knowing that these projects, these flowers that we're hanging up on the canvases are not just going to be hung up on the school hallways just to be taken down, that they're going to these assisted living spaces so that they could make a real impact on the people who really need it there.
We talked a little bit in class also, and feel free to jump in at any time. We talked about the difference between personal expressive art, which is what you do a lot in art classes. You've probably given a theme by your art teacher, but it's your self-expression, so you can choose what you want to do. And there's a difference when you're doing commercial art and commissioned pieces also. And with commercial art, you have more boundaries, but you also still have so much creativity during that. And so during commercial art, you have to think about your audience and who's paying for it and how much they want to pay for it, and then who is benefiting from it and who is looking at it most often. We made these canvases with big 3D colorful flowers, and this is going to benefit the residents who live there and walk there every day, and it's going to benefit the staff. They've expressed how excited they are to have some art up on those blank walls, and then also the family and friends and visitors who come in. It will be the first thing they see when they walk on those floors. And another aspect was on the 3rd floor. I think it's going to be really great for some of the students. We're hoping, pandemic willing, that we will be able to take a few students to go actually hang some pieces. But one thing that stuck out to me that the director said was, Erin, on the 3rd floor where there's some terminally ill patients and their memory care patients, she said they don't have 6 months for those walls to sit blank, and neither do their families. So yeah, it's an important project, but it's really exciting. But in commercial art, again, we needed to budget, and so we found a creative way to make these flowers.
Very creative.
Yeah, you want to tell them how we made them?
So we just take more heavy style paper from the paper that Mrs. England provides. Shout out to Mrs. England.
Yes.
But we just use some scissors to cut out sort of long rectangles, and we have these drawn out leaves so that we don't really like go on Google to like find a leaf template. We with the help of Mrs. Burchwell, and we're also free as the students to like make our own leaf designs. We can just draw it out, cut it out, and we'd put that template on the rest of the paper that we didn't use, fold it, and then we could cut through the layers to get more copies of that leaf design. And it's a really efficient way of using your products. That's also something that's impressed me.
Mrs. England was gracious enough to let us use all her classes for art from 7th grade all the way up. We had 12th graders like Leon in there as well.
Yep.
So, and I was so impressed with the kids. They all participated. We didn't have anybody sitting on the sidelines. And when you're doing commercial art and a lot of pieces, we were aiming for about 45 pieces of art, which is a lot of art at one time. There are a lot of steps, and I think that helped all students find one step that they liked. Some liked just cutting flower petals, some liked the gluing, some liked the spray paint. Mrs. England and I will then in the end make sure we have continuity and bring it up to the professional level to hang. When the art does come in, they're going to share it with other assisted living facilities in the area who are also waiting on art or who can't afford art on their walls. So it's going to get some good use out of it. I want to once again thank Mrs. England so much for letting me come in and for working so hard and for volunteering right away and for getting students to see the importance of serving others and not just ourselves. I want to thank her for that. I also want to thank WC for understanding the importance of art in a full education for kids. The things we're learning in just this project, let alone a whole course of art, they're problem-solving skills, they're communicating skills, they're things about psychology, and that helps you in every other aspect of school, whether it's science, math, all of it. And I'm really appreciative to WC that they've kept the arts program going. So thank you very much.